I'm Zoe with Paranormal Extraction, and I am the interviewer of the supernatural and metaphysical. And I have my partner in crime today, that is Crystal, and she's going to talk about her paranormal experiences. Are you ready? Hey, Crystal.
Hi, guys.
How are you today? Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me again. I'm good.
Are you good? So let's talk a little bit about your paranormal experiences. I'm really excited. I mean, I've actually heard them before, but they're so cool that everybody has got to hear it because we need some paranormal interviews or metaphysical, that's fine. She'll be coming on again speaking about getting to know yourself, which is more of a metaphysical experience that she has. And so we'll get ready for that sometime, whatever I'm saying. We just do one take. We never know what's going on. So Crystal, can you tell me what's up with your paranormal experiences?
Well, I actually have a surprise for you because I have a couple stories really short that I wanted to share, and there's a story that I actually have not shared with you before.
Oh, no. Are you kidding? Oh, my God. Okay,
Yeah.
I am so ready.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we did plan on talking about the other topic, but like just really quick. So as some of you guys know, we had some crazy earthquakes last night here in Cali, and like the energy is just like off. So Zoe and I just chatted real quick, and we're like, let's just do something else today. So
yeah,
I have stories all the time, but these ones I thought are kind of cool and spooky, especially with Halloween coming up, and the veil is starting to thin. So that means the spirits from the other side are making their way through.
yes.
They're not all bad, but, you know, we have some cool stories. So, okay, first I'll start off with the story. Let's call it The Little Boy and the Devil.
Excuse me, I need to put the little kitty in the room. She's gonna unplug the.
That's fine.
She's paranormal.
She's gonna unplug.
She's being paranormal
look,
right now.
This is baby kitty.
Uh-oh. Her
Okay.
name is Madge.
She already took off her collar.
Yeah.
Okay, and
It's perfect.
she's running all around, so great for Halloween. Just hang on 1 second.
Okay. Boy.
No, I think that was actually perfect for the little
Talk
black
about
cat.
a black cat crossing your path. That would.
Okay, baby kitty is now in the room. Her name is Madge the Magic Kitty. All right. So go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. So this is a story that my grandpa told us when we were growing up. And it is a true story, and I believe him. I've always believed him about this story. He had many. So when he was a little boy, he grew up in Texas, in San Antonio. And he didn't have a mother. So he was just raised by his dad. His mom died when he was really little. So he was about like 7 or 8 years old. One day he was out playing, shooting marbles by himself and just kind of like playing with his marble collection. And since he was raised just by his dad, like his dad worked a lot, so he didn't really have anybody looking after him. You know how most parents would be like, come inside, it's getting dark. So he used to play outside a lot by himself till whenever he was ready to go inside. So this one night he was playing with his marbles out there in the street, and it was getting dark, and just little by little the street lights would like flicker off one by one. And I love how he would tell the story, like it's right in the setting of it. And he was just kind of like getting his things together to go inside, and this gust of wind, this like blew right past him, but he said it was windy outside, and it just was like this kind of cloud that just went like right by his shoulder and his ear.
Was it black or white?
He didn't see it, he just felt it.
Right.
And then something said to him, do you want to play? And it was a male voice, a deep voice. And it said, do you want to play? And he said, no thanks. Like, just, he kind of just, like, was nonchalant about it. And we're just, like, oblivious to whatever that was, whoever was saying that to him. But there was nobody around, just him. and he was trying to put his marbles away, and the marbles like kind of like not flew, but they just kind of like went out of his hands, and they just like they shaped into a pentagram.
Oh my God, are you kidding?
What?
And this thing said, "I want to play with you." And my grandpa, he's like 7 or 8 years old, right, little boy. He said, "No thanks." And he said, "I know who you are. No thanks."
Wow.
And he said he doesn't know what came over him, and he doesn't know why he was so calm or like how he knew who that was, but he said it was the devil. And once he was so calm and collected like that and was like, "No thanks, I'm fine, like I have to go inside," it got pissed off, whatever it was the devil. And the marbles just like flew all over the street. And that was really it. But he had to go pick up all his marbles and go inside. But ever since then, at that time for him, he did have lots of stories that he used to share with us, so I can tell you some another time. But he never really explained it to us like this. But I really believe that he was a demon slayer.
Oh, a demon slayer. Explain to everybody what a demon slayer is, because I mean, I kind of have an idea, but why don't you explain that to other people?
Well, what I believe is just somebody, and honestly, I've never really known anybody who is that, except for my grandpa. And like I said, he never really described himself that way. But now that I know all this stuff, and he's passed away, and I still have a relationship with him as a spirit, he's kind of shown some things to me. And I just feel like because of like certain things he dealt with in life, there was constantly demons coming in trying to mess with him and his well-being. And he was just a warrior. Like, he was so strong and never afraid. And that's like the key thing, I think, to being a demon slayer. Like me, I have a lot of experiences with different spirits and lower spirits, but I'd never say I'm a demon slayer because I do get scared. You cannot fight that stuff if you're scared.
Okay, well, I would have to say I'm a demon slayer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when I'm balanced.
Right.
When I'm mentally balanced and very cool with myself. I've had so many experiences. One was a demon actually came into me and wanted me to go down and kill myself, and that's another story. And I was put on the ground, it pushed me on the ground into the Jesus Christ position. And then I woke up the next morning and I had taken a bunch of pills, and I woke up like the exorcist, straight up, and realized that it was a demon, and did an immediate exorcism on myself in my house. But it was the scariest thing. It tried to kill me. It was the scariest thing I've ever gone through. So I know what you're saying about being a demon slayer, and you got to know immediately what to do. But what you're saying about your grandpa is that this was just, this was built into him. He didn't need to know anything. He just did it. So that would be more of a demon slayer then. Is that they already know?
Yeah, I think that he just did it. It probably was something that came from a past lifetime or past lifetimes, that he just carried on into this lifetime that he had here. And I think maybe it started at that time, because that's the youngest story that he remembers, like with that kind of stuff that he shared with us. But he dealt with like people trying to throw witchcraft at him throughout his life. As he got older, he dealt with alcoholism that he battled for a really long time. So, and he's just so strong, like spiritually. So I just really feel like that's just who he was.
Well, excuse me. My grandfather had an experience with seeing a UFO, and back then, I mean, he was a cattle rancher, and back then, he grew up in the little log cabin with no lights, so he was never, ever into the paranormal. And he went down one day to the turkey farm, and the turkeys were all clucking, and he was looking up in the air, and so he looked up in the air, and there was a UFO about 6 to 8 feet above his head. It was huge. He talks about how beautiful it was, and this beautiful, like purple and blue and red tail light. As soon as he looked up, it took off. And my grandpa isn't going to lie about that. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to say, as we're talking about this right now, oh, well, he was a young kid and he's going to make this up. Well, what I'm saying is that isn't true, because my grandfather saw one too, and I was younger, and it wasn't just a made up story, because the whole family, he was scared to death. He ran up to the house and was scared to death when this happened. So it wasn't just because I was a little girl and he was trying to scare me. So I don't think this was with your grandfather either, because he had other experiences throughout his life. Also, one quick thing I wanted to talk about that you kind of brought up for me about he was dealing with alcoholism. What I found out throughout my life is that a lot of people who have these experiences resort to drugs or alcohol. And the reason they do that is because they want to numb their feelings. And any feelings that they have or any escape that they need, they resort to drugs or alcohol, which I did. However, I'm sober now, and I have to practice my spirituality on a daily basis. But that's my belief, is that also when you do drugs or alcohol, you're breaking your aura and creating holes in your aura for demons that are on the other side. When they kill themselves or they die of alcoholism, they come in and feed off the individual, making it worse and worse and worse and worse. However, AA is really the way to go, but those are my thoughts about the reason why he resorted to possibly to alcoholism. Do you think that could be part of it?
Absolutely. You said it all. I'm not even gonna, you said it all perfectly. And also, we are targets for dark energy. Anyone is, even if people don't battle with alcoholism, like this, even having a drink and getting drunk one night, I've been attacked before, and I never really had a problem with alcohol. So anytime we just alter our minds and put ourselves at a state where we're not really coherent and clearly thinking, we are targets for all of that, including demonic activity and attacks.
I totally agree with you 100% on that.
Yep.
And I really truly believe in it. I really do. On our discussion right now, I am just all the way for it. So is that the story from your grandfather? Do you have another one?
That's just the one I want to share about him, but it's just weird how all of this works out. We weren't planning on talking about this. You had no idea that I was going to talk about this.
No.
And I really wasn't going to bring up this point. But once I connected with his spirit again, because he died when I was 13. I had a really hard time with it because that was the first close person of mine that passed away. So I didn't really connect with his spirit until I was in my 20s. I discovered through a psychic healer that I had started working with a long time ago, and through some of my meditations, he actually is an angel for the AA meetings. He goes to the AA meetings and he tries to guide the people there to get on the right path and stay on the right path.
That's absolutely a wonderful thing, and I highly recommend Alcoholics Anonymous, and I just love the fact that he's there, because a lot of people that do go there don't have an understanding, and that demonic presence will still live in them. I know, about this, because I actually drew a picture of the demon. I still have it in my garage, but upside down. And just to remind me that these things, or generally one of them, will come in and just take over everything in your life. And they're there. So having him go in and help other alcoholics, I think is just absolutely wonderful. Besides following all the steps in AA.
Yeah, when the psychic healer had mentioned that to me, it made sense because I didn't tell her about him. She just sensed his spirit and she said, "There's a spirit around you. He's a male, and this is what he does." And I was like, "Oh, that makes sense." But probably about 5 years ago, I was meditating at the beach that I always go to, my favorite spot, and I was thinking about him a lot that day. And like I saw a man there that looked a lot like him, and I was like, "Oh, that's funny how I was thinking about my grandpa." I was walking back to my car to go to work. I ran into this lady at the parking lot, and we just started talking. And she said, "Okay, well, I better go. I have to go get my son across the street." And I was like, "Oh, is he like?" Because they were having like some kind of meetup or something. There's a lot of people.
Right.
And she goes, "Oh, he's over there. They're having an AA meeting."
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I had just like been thinking of my grandpa and saw this man who looked like him. So that was like the real confirmation for me that this was all true about
right.
that.
That's absolutely fantastic. And I'm really glad that we brought up the drugs and alcohol thing because, you know, when I attended some of those meetings, the meditation meetings that they had, I always went to the meditation meetings because I think the spirituality is really what it's all about. And, sometimes I would talk to people about this, and it's not very well received. However, I do believe that it's part of it because you got to get rid of any demonic influences that are in your life. And I'm not saying it's going to help you quit, but it just is going to make the shift a little easier. So your grandpa being there in spirit, and just like Vic, Vic used to be my partner in Paranormal Extraction, and he passed. And he was a big person in AA and ran all the meditation meetings. And I believe that he is there. I was going through there's a lot to tell you about Vic and how he's been in my life from a spiritual basis since he passed. But the other day when I was not doing so well emotionally because of everything that's going on, I just had this feeling to get my AA book out. And I did, and I read the first 3 steps, and after that I felt peace. So, and I know it was Vic, helping me through that. So that is such a cool story. I'm so glad we touched on that. What's the next story you got?
Okay.
This is
the
great.
Next story.
I didn't know about that.
Fun.
I didn't know about that. That is so great.
I told you I had some new stories for you.
Oh, God, I thought I knew you. Oh, help. Okay, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready.
Okay, I have a little prop. I wish it was darker in here. Can you see that?
Yes.
Yes, it's a rose.
Cool.
Is it?
This story is going to be called The Ghost Lounge Vixen. You guys spent time in Phoenix, right?
Yes.
Have you guys ever been to the Hotel San Carlos in downtown?
No, that's the haunted hotel.
Yes.
Yes, it is. It's a big haunted hotel that many paranormal ghost hunters, which we don't believe in hunting ghosts, go to hunt ghosts. Okay, so I won't get into that at all on how we feel about that, will we? Okay,
We
so
could be here all day.
Okay, yeah, we'd be here all day. So tell me about, you were at the Hotel Carlos. Tell us
San
about
Carlos.
it.
So when I lived in Arizona, I grew up there. So this is like about, let's say 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago. My friends and I used to go out and party on the weekends, and we really liked going there. They have at the hotel, they have a lounge called, I believe it's called Ghost Lounge, because this hotel is like notoriously known as being haunted. It was built in 1928, and shortly after that, like all of the Hollywood elite would go there and party. And there was even, I don't know all the history because there's so many ghost stories about this hotel.
Right.
Obviously has a lot of history, right? And
Right.
It's still in the historic area of downtown Phoenix. And aesthetically, they kept it up pretty well, like to its original, how it looked, which is really cool. But anyhow, it's just known for having spirits roaming the halls and all the rooms. So we used to go there to party and hang out on the weekend, go to the bar. My friends actually did take the tour. They do like a ghost tour. I didn't because, like we've seen so many in real life and that's just kind of boring to me. So I never took the tour because I'm like, what am I going to see that like,
Yeah, okay. Well, that's good.
And there comes you understand, there comes a point
Yeah.
when this stuff it's still fun, but it's just like, I've been there, done that.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyhow, but going there just to like hang out, I never stayed in a room overnight, but I mean, I bet it's scary. Going there just to hang out, you can just feel a chill in the air. You can feel things moving past you. I mean, definitely, truly a haunted, very haunted place. So we would go there maybe a few times a month, Friday night, happy hour or whatever. So this one night we were there and we had several experiences with just like feeling things, before. But this one night we were there, I was with my best friend, Sarah, and there was this kind of commotion going on. There was a table, in the corner, and there was a lot of men. There's a lot of guys over there, and then we're trying to figure out what's going on over there. And then all of a sudden, we just see this beautiful blonde girl, gorgeous, like Pamela Anderson,
right.
Great body, hair, beautiful girl. So, okay, that's why all the guys are over here. And we're like, but what's going on? So she had at the table, it was a high-rise table, and she had, I think she had a crystal ball, and it looked like she was doing like tarot readings.
Right. Oh, okay.
She had some cards. So that was pretty cool. So we just like, okay, that's cool. Maybe they're just doing a little thing here. And we just continued to go on about our night. The men were like mesmerized by this girl. Like there was no other women around. It was just men, and they were just, of course, So she gets up to use, I don't know, she walked away, and we had to go use the bathroom. So we went to the bathroom, and on the way to the bathroom, the lights were like flickering.
Wow.
And you can just feel like this kind of,
yeah.
I don't know how to describe it, not like a breeze, but just this kind of like temperature drop in the air.
Yeah.
And not everywhere, just in certain spots,
yes. Yeah.
So we definitely noticed that, but that's kind of common for this place. So that wasn't, but we just had a different feeling this time. Like we never would go to the bathroom alone when we would be there because we knew this place is spooky. Like we've been there several times when the lights would shut off in the bathroom and stuff. So it's scary. We go in the bathroom and this lady was in the bathroom, right? Two at the same time. So we're waiting for her to come out of the stall because there was only two and they were both occupied. And when she came out, this was the same young girl. Like I would say she was about maybe 30, not too old, young looking, attractive, everything.
Old. I'm old.
Huh?
I'm old.
No, you're not.
Okay. Okay, so she comes out of the bathroom. I'm sorry.
Comes out of the stall.
Okay.
And we knew it was her because she had the same cute heels and skinny jeans. She came out of the stall as looked like a 70-year-old woman. Her hair was all raggedy and like stringy, and it was more like a white instead of the blonde that it was, when she was, it was like all voluptuous and curly. And no, when she came out, it was just like stringy and white, and she had her face like a 70-year-old lady. I kid you not. It was the same girl.
Oh.
She was just revealing herself to us.
Wow. Okay, so you
and we both looked at each other, and we didn't. I'm getting the chills right now. We didn't want to be rude,
Right.
And then knowing what we know about the paranormal, we didn't want to piss her off, and especially because she was doing like her readings. But she walked out. She went back to the bar. We just were silent. We just were in shock. We didn't even say anything to each other until after we left the bar. And we're like, "Did you see what? Did we both see that?" And when she went back to her little area, she was the same Pamela Anderson.
So, okay, so, well, we've talked about transformation and how they can come in and out of looking like a normal person and then turning into something that's more sinister is what I would call it, or evil, which I believe she was attracting that from the men in order to do the tarot to pull them more in to the dark side. It sounds like if she revealed herself to you. But the problem that I'm having with this is I've never seen a ghost. Well, let's not say she's a ghost, but it would be more of a skinwalker where they actually have a body and then they actually go into a wolf, and then there's another wolf body. That's a transformation. So it's kind of similar to a skinwalker is what you're saying, which it very well could be.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, she wouldn't be a ghost because they all were there seeing her, interacting with her physically. But do you think, so is that kind of like a shapeshifter?
It would be,
That-
it actually, you are correct. I said skinwalker, but it would be a shapeshifter. So
I don't know the difference. It sounds the same to me. I don't really know.
that would be a shapeshifter. Shapeshifter would be person to person. So a skinwalker is one who goes into an animal. However, I have talked to the Native American tribes, and they can actually do the same thing. So I don't know exactly what the definition of it is, but I would say skinwalker or shapeshifter on that one. So
Okay.
wow, what a great story. So then you just watched, and then you just
We didn't stay too long because, honestly, and she wasn't, I didn't get like an evil feeling from her, but it was just, I've seen a lot of things that did give me a weird, I didn't want to be there. So we finished our drinks and we decided to go somewhere else,
right.
And as soon as we were walking out, that's when we told our other friends, hey guys, we saw this thing happen in the bathroom and that lady was not who she was, as she appeared.
That's a
those
crazy.
guys.
Did you ever go back there again after that?
Yeah, we did. We liked it there. It's a cool place.
So you
I
weren't
go back
scared. You weren't scared because of the shapeshifter that was there. Or
No. And because whenever I have these kinds of experiences, like you said, I don't do investigations, but I happen to go to places that are haunted and I have experiences. So what I do is after I'll go do my research and try to figure out who this was
Right.
or why did this happen, right? So that's when I started researching the hotel. I knew it was haunted, but no, I wasn't scared. There's so many spirits there. There's so many things that have tragedies that have happened. People throwing themselves off of the top floor and things
Right.
like that.
did you ever come across when you were doing your research of a woman? I think there was a woman who fell off a balcony or something there. So maybe that was her.
Several. There was one girl. I thought maybe it could have been that spirit, but I don't really think so. When shortly after the hotel had the grand opening, there was this one girl. She was like in her early 20s, and she had just her boyfriend just dumped her, and she threw herself off like I think the 7th floor.
Yeah, that I remember that.
And
Yeah.
she's known to haunt, there's several spirits that are known to like actually live there still. So,
Right.
I don't know.
Okay, interesting. So what's your third story here? I know we had 3. That was
Okay,
great. I love
it
that.
kind of leads into that one. So, go ahead. Did you want to say something?
Oh, no. I just said I love
Sorry.
that. I totally just love that story.
Oh yeah, isn't it a cool story?
It is.
I
love it.
didn't get, it was creepy. Like
What?
in that moment, I didn't really want to be there in her presence, but looking back on it, it's a cool story.
Well, it is a cool story. I think it's a cool story because you've never told me any of this before.
I have so
I
many.
can't. I know, but okay. So
With Halloween coming up, maybe we can do this maybe another couple times.
Well,
you know?
yeah, we'll definitely do it over Halloween because I have my own experiences and we can go
Mhm.
back and forth and
Yeah.
talk about this. But so tell me about what's the next one we're going to speak about.
Okay, so I'll transition from that one to the next one. So that also in my research, I found that the Hotel San Carlos was actually built over not Native American burial grounds, but like I forgot what they called it, like their learning land or something, like where they would teach the children.
Yeah.
They built it over that. What was it called? Like a worshiping and learning land.
Right.
They built the hotel over that, and I used to be like, ooh, how could they do that? But now it's like, dude, where are they supposed to build stuff? Like, we have to keep growing, right?
Okay, but
I know it sounds bad, but
if it was just a worshiping and learning center, what does that have to do with the paranormal? Was there
they
graves?
say that you would actually see little children, like Indian children in the hotel as well, spirits of them.
Okay, so was it an Indian burial ground, or was it a burial ground for the kids? Or
From what I found out, it didn't say anything about burial grounds, but I don't know. But that's going to lead into my next story.
Okay.
So I really can't confirm that, but I mean, I don't know. So now where I live in Huntington Beach, fairly close to me, there's it's called the Bolsa-Chica wetlands, and I don't know if you've heard of this before. So it's a preserve, and it's like protected land. You cannot take anything from there or touch anything. There's like trails that you can walk on. It's really pretty. It's across the street from the beach, so you can see the ocean from across. It's really beautiful. I'll go and take some pictures. Actually, I have some pictures I'll share. But like, what was it? When I first moved out to California, I started working out here in Huntington Beach as a nanny. And when I first started working for the family, they lived in that neighborhood behind the wetlands, and the mom was taking me on the trail to show me where I could walk her babies, right? And she asked me if I knew anything about the wetlands, and I said no. It's just I come hiking here sometimes, and she said okay. And she asked if I was a spiritual person, and I said yes. And she said, okay, you're gonna want to like really be careful when you come on this path if you're a sensitive person, because the neighborhood that they built behind the wetlands is still the protected land, but developers came in, and this is exact parallel story to the Poltergeist movie. Exactly. Maybe that's where they got the idea from, I don't know. But they came in and developed homes on this land. They were not supposed to do that, but when you have money, you can do pretty much anything you want. And they built these homes, and the people didn't really know. They bought land, they bought homes here, and they're experiencing all these crazy haunts and these crazy like paranormal experiences because they built these houses on top of Indian burial grounds.
Well, that kind of reminds me, and then I know you can go back into your story. You remember when I called you when that whole cul-de-sac was poltergeist activity on it? The guy called us and he was going to fly you in. Do you remember that? Mm-hmm. And then we both said, hey, do we want to do this? Are we not going to do this? And then after I gave him a couple tips and he did his research, they were able to get it under control, especially finding the bones and getting rid of them. But I just wanted to say that. Because you're talking about the homes, and they do exist, okay? So, and this guy was, you remember, right? And you were like, I don't know if I want to do that. And I said, well, maybe we should pull another team member in. And we didn't have Vic anyways, so okay, so it's buried over the top of this. Did you experience anything when you were there?
I never have, but I'm really glad that the mom shared all of that with me, because it did make me more aware when I would, and I live really close to there now, so I like to go running there and stuff. So I just have a different kind of respect for it, knowing that, and I've actually tried to connect with some of the spirits. I've never seen anything, or I've never had any experiences there, but I have tried to just kind of like reach out and see if they wanted to tell me anything. I still feel like it's a very peaceful, I feel like those spirits have kind of not given up, but they don't want to put the energy towards fighting. It's like it's already there. They seem very peaceful about it. So I don't think it's as bad as, it sounds.
Well,
but sometimes that's not the case.
Well, exactly. It can just be a feeling of a presence there that, a lot of people are so cut off from their spirituality, or all of a sudden they'll be in a happy mood, and then all of a sudden something happens and they're like, well, why am I feeling kind of It could very well be from just being in that energetic field at the time. And then all of a sudden, you know, a half hour, an hour later, they're feeling back to their normal selves. And that could very well mean that you have psychosis. I'm just kidding.
You're funny.
You don't have to have. Yeah. So yeah, you don't have psychosis. Anyways, that was a killer story. So I know that you and I are going to come on again for Halloween and talk about, well, not for Halloween, but somewhere probably before, and talk about a few more stories. And I can't wait, because then I'll be able to, you know, butt in, and I always butt in and cut you off on what you're speaking about. But we'll be talking about more paranormal experiences. My particular paranormal experience with the worldwide radio show that I was on, and my Jesus Christ position, and there are several more that I'll talk about. So are we calling the shots here? All right, so we're done today, and Crystal and I will be on again, and she's also going to talk about some other things. And Crystal, why don't you tell them about your next, just give a brief description about what you do, who you are, and why you're going to be talking about the next video we're going to be doing.
Okay. Well, I'm a healer, an energy healer, and a psychic reader. So I do a combination of both of those things. I have several different modalities that I'm certified to do to help you with anything that might be going on in your life, or just any questions that you might have that you are unsure about, and anything that has to do with healing. What we're going to be talking about in the future is just using this time wisely right now during all of this chaos that's going on in the world. We're all affected by it, so I just wanted to talk about using the time wisely to enhance your life instead of letting it bring you down.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to look forward to that, and that will be our next video coming soon. So I just want to say thank you for watching, and over and out. Bye, Crystal.
Bye, guys.